proceedings. So as a commission, we were established in the public interest. So in other words, the government decided that it is in the public interest that this commission be established and this inquiry be conducted. So as a result, our proceedings are required to be in public. And when it comes to public officials or public officers like yourself and others, you have a duty to account to the public. And this commission is a vehicle for the public officers who are called as witnesses to account publicly in a transparent manner. You can be rest assured that you will be treated by this commission fairly when you do so. You will be treated with respect throughout the hearing. There are cases where witnesses that we call to come forward with testimonies and give evidence, there are cases where such witnesses may have serious safety concerns. We then balance between the safety concerns that they express and the public interest, which is the interest of the public to follow these proceedings. And then we make a decision based on these two. And therefore, we are just clarifying as a commission to the public that if you are called to give evidence before this commission, the default requirement is for you to do so publicly. I think what is important is paragraph number 5 in our rules, which let me just read what it says. It says, in accordance with Section 11 of the Commission of Inquiries Act, and in the absence of a direction to the contrary in the commission or these proceedings, inquiries shall be held in public to ensure transparency and accountability. So that is why we are saying, as a commission, we have that obligation to ensure transparency and accountability. The commission may order that any hearing or part thereof be held in private in certain circumstances. And then the rules then say, the commission shall determine applications for private hearings in its discretion, which means we have a discretion, balancing the public interest in open proceedings against the specific interests requiring confidentiality. So that is our mandate there, to balance between the two. But the default position is that our proceedings are conducted in public, which means that the members of the public are free to come in person and sit here in court and witness the proceedings. They are also free to watch these proceedings online and to watch them on television. So I just wanted to make that clarification so that the members of the public that are following these proceedings can have that appreciation, but also for potential witnesses that we may be calling to come and give evidence to also understand the rules that govern our work. So my name is Justice Alfred Mavedzenke. I am the chairperson of the Commission of Inquiry, and I will allow fellow commissioners to introduce themselves.
I am Melchior Vidot.
Victor.
And to the extreme left is the secretary for the commission, Ms. Chelsea Albest, whom you have interacted with. And I'm now going to ask the secretary to administer the oath. Then we officially begin your taking your evidence. Yes.
Can you stand up, please, Ms. Jocelyn? Yes, please. Are you a Christian or do you follow another denomination?
Christian.
So if you can lift your right hand and repeat after me. I swear
I swear
by Almighty God
by Almighty God
that the evidence
that the evidence
I shall give
to
this commission
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
and
nothing but the truth. So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you, Ms. Ennis. Now you may be seated.
Can we call you Chief Inspector Jocelyn?
Yes.
Is that fine? Okay. Thank you very much, Secretary for the Commission, for administering that oath. Chief Inspector, I just want to remind you of a few rules that will govern our proceedings today. So the first one is we encourage you to tell the truth, nothing but the truth. And we always remind other witnesses that have come before you, privately or in public, that it is a criminal offense to mislead the commission or to give false evidence to the commission. Please answer all the questions that are asked to the best of your knowledge. Conduct yourself with dignity and respect, including when you are referring to other people who are not here in your testimony. We also assure you that we will treat you with respect and dignity as a human being, but also as a public official. To everyone that is in the room, please do not interrupt proceedings. We want to make sure that the witness is comfortable and is able to speak without being distracted. So let us switch off our mobile phones or put them on complete silence. Not vibration, but complete silence, so that and I'm also going to ask that there are minimum movements in and out of the courtroom, so that we don't interrupt what is being said here. Then we are going to take turns to ask you questions. And we will start with Commissioner Vidot on my right, and then we will take it from there. So over to you, Commissioner.
Good morning, CI Kupusami. Okay. Can you just tell us for how long you've been an officer with the prison services?
31 years.
Okay. And what is your current position?
I'm a chief inspector. I'm in charge of oversee the female prison, and I'm the staff welfare officer for the time being.
Okay. And since when have you been assigned such duties?
Since 2 months back.
Okay. And on the 5th and 6th of December 2024, you were not doing similar duties?
No.
So what were your duties during that period?
During that period, I was assigned to just be there to wait until the 1st of January for me to be in charge of the male prison. That was first from the ex-commissioner, Janet George. So I was helping in every unit.
Okay. And you do remember the incident that happened at the prison on the 5th and 6th of December?
Yes, sir.
You were on duty on both days?
On both days I was on duty, yes.
Okay. So can you tell us what you observed, what you heard on those 2 days?
On the 5th, it was after 4 when I heard, I was in the office, the administrative block, when I heard loud noise coming from down. So I proceeded to...
When you say down, you mean?
I mean the male prison, the male block, yeah, somewhere in the male block. So I went to another CI Luina, and then she said that she's hearing some noise too. So she called the deputy, and deputy said they're taking care of things. And then from there I went down.
Which deputy? Can you name the deputy?
Deputy Samdode.
Okay.
Yeah, then I went down to proceeding towards the male block. But before I reached there, I passed the SIU where there's the lifers being housed there. And there were some of them outside. I told them to just stay away from whatever is happening. And then from there, while I was standing there talking to them, I saw a group of inmates in the front gate of the male block.
Okay. And when you talked to the lifers, you told them not to get involved?
To calm down.
And how were they at that time?
Yes, they were calm. They were calm, yes.
Yeah. So upon reaching the main gate of the male block?
Upon reaching the male gate entrance there, I stayed there, because they were throwing stones from out the other side. So I stayed there with some Gurkhas which were there. And from there, the reason I stayed there was in case inmates want to go out to escape. That's the main reason why I stayed there.
Mm-hmm. And, okay, so you stayed there, and what did you observe thereafter?
What was happening was there was loud noise. They were making noise, and they were asking to cooperate, the prison to cooperate with them. They wanted Stephen Mulder to come out from the holding cells. That was their complaint.
Okay. And Stephen Mulder is an inmate?
Yes, he was an inmate.
At the
yes.
prison, yeah. And the only thing they asked was that Stephen Mulder be
released from the holding
okay.
cell.
And so what else did you observe from that point on?
The thing is that I went back to where Stephen Mulder was, and when I reached there, I saw him and I asked him, Stephen, there's commotion going down there. You please tell me to ask them that you're okay. And he said, no, I'm not okay. I want to see my lawyer first. I'm not cooperating with the system. So then I went down again. And when I went down, that's the time I saw fire with the mattresses. They were burning mattresses.
Okay, they were burning mattresses.
Yes.
And what else did you observe after you saw the fire and they were burning mattresses?
What I observed was that there were more inmates coming to join the crowd.
Okay.
Okay.
And the inmates who were coming to join the crowd, was it to participate in what was going on, or was it
to observing? So observing, yes, to observe.
And can you tell us who were the inmates who you saw who were being? Would I be correct in saying that some inmates were being aggressive?
They were not that aggressive, but they were talking loud, very loud.
Okay.
Like Zadi Bika was there, and he was calling my name. And I remember.
And he was calling your name for what reason?
To continue to say to go and negotiate.
Okay.
With Modo.
Okay. And did you go back to negotiate with Modo?
No, I didn't go back again there.
Okay. But did you try to talk to them and try to appease them? To stop the commotion that was going on?
Yes, I tried to tell them to stop it, and we had the hostages who were still in there, 4 officers. And after that, they released the 3 of them. 3 of them were released, 3 Tanzanian officers, and then after they released the acting CI Radigon.
Okay. When the officers, you saw them when they came out?
Yes, I saw them when they came out.
Okay. Were any of them, did you notice any injuries on any of them?
No, there were no injuries on it. I didn't notice any injuries on them.
Okay. And you say at a certain point, CI and Esta was also released. No, Radigon, sorry.
CI Radigon after was released.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when he came out, did you notice any injury on him?
No, I was far from where he was when he was released, when he came out.
Okay. And once these officers were released, what did you What did you do, or what did you observe?
When the officers were taken out from hostage, the thing that I saw them was that they were moving a little going a little inside, but there were more of them there.
Okay. You mentioned one name.
Zadibika.
Yeah. Did you see anybody else that you could remember?
No, I don't remember.
Okay.
To give their names.
So, okay, you carry on.
And from there, after the fire brigade, they came, put out the fire.
The fire brigade was called?
The fire brigade was called, yeah, to put out the...
Do you know who called the fire brigade?
No, I do not know, but the fire brigade, they did came.
Okay.
The firefighters came and
okay.
put out the fire.
So they put out the fire?
Yes.
And once the fire was extinguished?
Once the fire was extinguished, I stayed there for some more than 1 hour. I was just there in the front gate there, and then there was the other police officers who came after.
So police officers had now arrived at the...
Then after, yes, they came, police officers.
Do you know from which unit of the police? Or
no,
was
I don't know from which unit.
Was it regular police officers?
It was the regular police,
okay.
And then from PSSW too.
Okay.
They came, and then some soldiers after came.
Okay. How long after did the military come?
It was hours.
Hours after?
Hours after,
so
yes.
Initially it was just the police?
The police.
Regular police. And then the PSSW?
Yes.
And then hours later, the military was called? Was called. Okay. So when the police first arrived, how would you describe, before the police arrived, how would you describe the atmosphere at the prison then?
It was very tense.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very tense.
It was tense in what sense?
The inmates were shouting. Again, they were making so much noise, and they were still calling for murder to be released. But the police, when they came, then they went inside, and then they came out, and then they went inside again.
Okay. You didn't follow them inside?
I didn't follow them, no, I didn't follow them. I was trying to calm some of the inmates.
Okay. And did you manage to calm the inmates?
Yes, I managed to calm some of them.
Okay. So they listened to you?
They listened to me, yes.
Okay. Would you say you are a person that the inmates would normally listen to?
I can say yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Because when they do wrong, because as a prison officer, I'm firm but fair.
Okay.
So when they do wrong, you've got to let them know that they're doing wrong. When they're doing...
Okay. And when you are firm with them, when they do something wrong, how would they behave towards you?
Now, when they do something wrong, they always say they're right. That's them. But you've got to put a fact before them that you can't always be right. You've got to assess the situation and then come to a conclusion. That's what I always discuss with them.
And your discussion, how would your discussion go with them?
Usually one-on-one.
Okay.
Yes. I will tell them, inmate so-and-so, please, you're not supposed to be here. Why are you there? Go back to your location because it's an offense. Always try to make them see that we've been governed by the Prison Act for us to move.
Okay.
And they've got to abide. But the majority of them, they respect.
They respect?
Yes.
Okay. You say that they are governed by the Prison Act. Tell me, when an inmate is brought to prison the first time he gets into prison, are they made aware of the Prison Act?
The first day that they come, they usually nowadays they go to the...
Let's not talk about nowadays. Let's talk about the 5th and the 6th, before the 5th and the 6th of December.
If they know about the Prison Act? They
yes.
know what needs to be the house rules. That's what they get, the house rules.
They get the house rules?
The house rules, yes, but not the Prison Act.
Okay. Who gives them the house rules? Once they go inside the prison, they're given a code of conduct.
No, when
are you saying...
When they're being during admission time, they will be informed of what they're supposed to do. If they are sick, what they're supposed to do, when they want to make a call, things like that. For the time being, that's what. Before they were being given booklet, but nowadays, no.
Okay. And on the 5th and the 6th, before then, were they being given booklets?
It was way before, years
before.
back before.
Okay. Okay. Now can you just tell us what you observed from where you left?
Now, when I was there after the other party came to give a helping hand, some inmates wanted to come out on their own free will. They didn't want to get involved, and then they were handcuffed to the visit area to stay there until things settle.
How were they handcuffed?
2 by 2.
No, okay, 2 by 2.
And yes.
So what would that be? 2 by 2?
It means the handcuffs would be
one
an arm of one person and the other.
Okay.
And they were escorted to the visitors area. And somewhere they went down to the gym, to the prison gym. They didn't want to stay inside to interfere with what was going on. And the rest, some of them, they stayed inside.
Okay. Okay. So what else?
And now from there, the officers, they were inside, but where I was standing, I couldn't see them before. It was hours that I went inside me.
Okay. And, the police had gone in, came out with some of them who were ready to leave the mail block.
Okay.
Okay. And there were, once the police removed those who were willing to come out, what happened?
I was still outside near the gate there, and I don't know what was happening inside. It was after that I went inside.
Okay. During the time that you were standing outside and waiting, some had been removed, did you observe any police guards or police officers who went inside the prison?
I observed there was even prison officers who went inside at that time.
Okay.
In the soldiers.
Okay. Can you name the prison officers who went inside?
I saw Inspector Ivan Nicola going inside, and then it was the rest. I can't remember their names now.
Did you see whether Inspector? I think it's Inspector Tony Joe.
At that time, he was not there yet.
He was not there.
No, he came after.
He came after.
Came after.
And when he came, did he go inside?
When he came, he went. He was standing there somewhere near the gate, in the main gate inside. And then after that, I didn't saw him.
Okay. So apart from Ivan, you don't recall the others who went inside?
I thought it was Corporal DLC, but I don't recall the others.
Okay.
That's who I saw, the two.
Okay. So you said at some point you went inside?
Yes, at some point I did went inside.
Okay. What did you observe when you went inside?
When I went inside, there was so much noise and hustle and bustle, and then from there, as the inmates already come out, there were Gola section, which we need to clear it. So I went in there with it was P.O. Badri, a Nepali officer, and then Kigina, a Tanzanian officer. So we went there to clear the area for the section there, for them to, when they come after the riots, for them to go in there. I went there to clean.
Okay. And that would be on the ground floor?
Yes, it's the first ground floor.
And did you at any point go in the upper floor, on the upper floors?
No, I didn't go on the upper floors, but I reached until the staircase leading to the upper floor.
Okay. And you reached the staircase on the upper floors?
It was late in the morning when I reached there.
Oh, it was late?
Yes, it was late in the morning. Next day.
That would be the next day?
The next day, it will be the 6th.
Okay. But still on the 5th? Okay, you were cleaning. Was that on the 5th?
Yes, it was on the 5th that we cleaned the section.
Oh, okay. And once you cleaned the section, what happened?
I heard noises outside. There was so much noise outside.
And noises coming, could you observe
the corridor?
Okay, from the corridor.
Yes, but I did not observe.
Okay. And at one point, the military come into the prison. Did you notice them? You said you noticed them.
Yes, I noticed them. I saw them. Some soldiers.
Some soldiers. And in what manner did they enter the prison?
They entered to try to bring peace to solve what was going on.
Okay. And did you hear any grenades or any guns being fired?
Earlier, no.
Okay.
On the fourth, I
There
didn't
were-
hear gunshots. No.
Okay. So you heard gunshots at some point.
At some point, it was early morning. Yes, the
Okay.
next day.
And when you say you saw the military going in and the police, were they armed?
Yes, they were armed.
Could you identify what kind of arms they had?
No,
with
no,
them?
I cannot identify.
Okay. So, but you heard gunshots.
Yes, I heard gunshot.
Okay.
Let me go back. When they came, no, I didn't saw armed. They were not armed. I didn't see any guns.
You didn't see any guns,
No.
but you heard gunshots after they went in.
After that, I heard gunshot.
Okay. And what about, I don't know whether you know about this, but we have evidence that grenades were being used.
I didn't hear it.
You didn't hear?
No.
Okay. Okay, so carry on what you observed.
After having cleaned the area, what I observed was later on, when I went in the corridor, there were lots of the clothes and everything that was being put in the corridor.
And
Then
by whom were being put in? By whom were the clothes?
I don't know who took it out. I don't remember who took it out. If it was the soldier, if it was the PSSW, but all the things from the cell were being removed and put in the corridor.
Okay. And
Yeah.
there were no inmates around at that time?
No, there were no inmates. Some inmates, some of them has run up first floor, but then when they were coming down, the soldiers were beating them.
Okay. And when they came down, were they restrained in any way? Were they had
No, they were not restrained.
their hands were not
No,
restrained?
not restrained, no.
So when they were coming down, you said that the soldiers were beating them.
Yes.
Okay. In your opinion, was there a need, if they were coming down, for the soldiers to beat them?
No, there was no need for them to be beaten up, no.
And how seriously were they being beaten?
Mhm. It was quite serious because they were beating them just anywhere, in the head, in the belly, anywhere. And I tried to intervene, but I was told, don't, in Creole you say, pas soutirer. Man go soutirer.
I'm not sure how to say suchile in English.
Don't take side, no?
No, it's not take side.
Don't be overprotective. Don't be overprotective.
Protective. Yeah, that's what I was told by one officer, which I don't know his name, but I remember his face. That's what I was told.
And how were they talking to the inmates as they were beating them up?
While they were beating them up, they were talking to them quite loud.
And would you say it was in an aggressive manner?
Not to that extent, but they were a bit aggressive.
Okay. So some inmates are going down, they are being beaten.
Yes.
Did you notice any inmates who came down with injuries?
That's the time when they sustained injuries, when they went after being beaten up, they
Okay.
sustained injuries. And the doctor was called, and when I saw the doctor coming, I was going up and down the corridor, the section corridor. When I saw the doctor coming, and I told the doctor we've got some casualties, and the doctor said to me to bring them to the prison clinic.
Okay.
Yes, some were lying there on the floor.
Some were lying on the floor. Where?
Yes, I saw one inmate, Richard Rosette was his name. He was there and he had his head was swollen.
What about, okay.
Just a follow-up question on that one. Is there any inmate who was lying on the floor who was beaten?
No, when they came down, they fell down.
So when they came down, then they
yeah,
fell down.
They fell down, and then they were beaten. And then I saw, that's the time when I saw Francis Enista. He was there with an officer, Sergeant Jerry Jolicoeur, and he was holding him. And then when I saw the injury on his left shoulder, that's the time when I called out to say get the paramedics to come to take him to the hospital.
Yeah. And Mr. Enista, is he a young man? Was
no,
he a
no,
young
he's
man?
of age, 60, over 60.
Over 60.
Over 60, yes.
And he was also being beaten up?
That's what I was told, but I didn't saw them beating him.
Okay. Okay. So you asked that that they get medical attention.
Yes, sought medical attention for them.
Okay. And did they receive medical attention?
They did receive Dr. Mills, our medical officer.
Okay.
He did came.
Okay. And what kind of injuries did you observe?
It was some got some bruises, and then it's only Richard that I really saw. His head was very swollen, but the rest they were beaten on the back and everywhere.
Okay. And what were they being beaten with?
With what were they being beaten?
Yeah. Any weapons were used or anything were used?
I just didn't know what it was that they kept beating them with. I didn't observe that well.
Okay. But the motion you showed us, they had something in their hands.
In their hands, yes,
Yeah.
they had something in their hands, but I couldn't see what was it.
Okay. So, did you observe any other inmates that came out all wounded?
Yes, I saw some of them. They had been wounds on them, but it was only Richard that really attracted my attention because of the way that his head was swollen.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest came with arms, saying they've been beaten on the arms, on the head,
Okay.
holding their heads, things like that.
Okay. At any point, did you observe any inmates being their hands being restrained by using tie wraps?
No. Like tie rack, I didn't saw inmates being restrained with tie rack.
Okay. Okay.
Can I just come in right there? Before you move away from this scene, when you saw the inmates being beaten, coming down, did you see were there any prison guards?
No, at that time there were no prison guards, no.
Okay.
It was only Sergeant Jolicoeur there on the floor with Francis Tigas and myself.
Okay.
Okay. Enista.
Francis Enista, sorry. Francis Enista.
Okay. So at no point in time did you observe any of them being tied, their hands being tied?
No. I didn't saw that. Maybe they were, but I didn't saw it. I didn't look at it.
Okay. Were there any inmates that were thrown down onto the floor?
No, during my time there, I didn't saw them being thrown on the floor.
Okay.
It was after being beaten that some fell on the floor.
Okay. But still, when some were coming down, being beaten, there were other inmates on the upper floors.
They were still on the upper floors, yes.
And did you see or could you hear of anything happening on the upper floors?
No. I couldn't see anything happening. I couldn't. Where I was, I could not hear anything happening, but there was noise, loud noise.
Okay, just loud noise?
Yes.
Okay. Did you hear any screaming?
Yes,
from
I heard
inmates?
screaming
Okay.
coming from upper floor.
Okay. And would you be able to tell us what was being said whilst they were, when you heard the screaming?
No, I couldn't identify any like sort of voices. No, but only screaming, only loud noises.
did you observe any inmates coming down and rubbing their eyes, or because their eyes been affected in any way?
No, I didn't saw that.
Okay. So after you saw the inmates coming out, some of them coming out,
Yes.
what else did you?
What I did was to give the helping hand to ensure that all those who has sustained injury were seen by the doctor. That's when I became preoccupied with that section.
And whereabout were you when you became?
It was the
preoccupied?
ground floor.
On the ground floor.
On the ground floor, yes.
Okay. And did you at any point in time leave the prison?
Yes, it was after hours after the doctor already came that I went up to the office, headquarters, to the administrative office.
And at the administrative office, who were present?
At the administrative office, it was the ex-commissioner was there, Miss Janet George, and then who I saw again. It was some officers from the police.
Okay. What about military officers?
Military officers, he was there. One of them was there.
Okay. And did you have an opportunity to talk to?
No,
any of
no, I
them?
didn't have the opportunity to talk to them.
And when you came up, did Mrs. George ask you of what was happening?
No,
or
she
what
didn't
you
ask
observed?
me anything. She didn't tell me anything.
And
What was happening?
okay. Were they having any discussions which you overheard?
No, because I just came and put a sack, a goonie bag there, and then I left.
Okay. And you left and you went where?
I went back to inside the mill block.
And what did you observe there?
And when I went back in there, there was still the commotion of inmates coming down and loud noises coming from up, but I couldn't see.
Okay. And when these inmates were coming down, were they, as previously you've observed, were they being beaten?
They were still being beaten, yes.
Okay. And when they came out, these inmates, were they in any way restrained?
No, they were put in the section where we had it cleaned. That's where they were put.
Okay.
House them there.
Okay. And
Maybe when he says were they restrained, he means were they handcuffed in any way?
No, I didn't saw any handcuffs, sir.
no tie racks as well?
No tie racks, I don't remember.
Okay. So they were put there. Who asked them to stay there in that area of the?
I personally asked them to stay there
Okay.
until they be assisted by the medical officer.
And when you asked them to stay there, did you get any response from them or from the police or the military?
No, I didn't get any help from the military.
Did they tell you anything when you asked?
No, they didn't tell me anything. I was going about my own, trying to help them, the one who's sustained injuries.
Did you at any point observe any inmates being asked to strip down?
Yes, I did observe.
And
Strip search.
And who asked them to strip down?
It was the soldiers and the PSSW officer.
Okay. And how did the inmates react when they were asked to?
They just
strip
had to obey. And they were all stripped in a line. And then we were all there watching.
So there were female officers and
There
male
were female
officers.
officers there watching, yes.
And who were the female officers apart from yourself? Who were there?
Apart from myself, there was one from the police, one female officer from the police too there.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the others, it was male officers.
And once they were they were stripped down.
Yes.
What happened?
After that, they were asked to squat, and then they went back inside the cell.
Do you know the reason why they were asked to squat?
No. I do not know the reason why. Maybe they were looking for contraband. I don't know.
Can I?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, can I ask you a follow-up question? Is that how you normally search prisoners?
No, no.
So how do you normally search prisoners?
Normally, if you to strip search with the first part, you remove, you look, then you put it back, and then you remove the lower part. They remove it, the trousers. Then after that, you put it back, but not naked like that.
Okay. And when you normally search them, do you, when male prisoners are being searched, when they're being stripped, are they also stripped in the presence of female prisoners?
No. The male officers will do the strip search, not female. We're not allowed to.
Okay.
Okay. So once they were strip search, were they directed to do anything?
No. Only to bend, and then after that, I went away.
Oh, you didn't stay there?
I didn't stay there to observe. It was continue. Just when I saw them naked, I proceeded towards the gate.
Did you notice any female officers present at this stripping ceremony?
Yes, there was one police officer, one female police officer, a young one.
Okay.
But I do not know her name.
Okay. Was there any prison officers?
At that time?
Ladies prison officers?
No, during that time, I didn't saw any female prison officers.
You didn't see?
No, I didn't saw.
Okay.
Thank you.
And normally when there's a strip search being conducted on prisoners, is it done privately, or is it done like if you have a lot of prisoners, you do it?
No, privately.
Okay.
We as prison officers, we do it privately.
Yeah. Anyway, that will be in conformity with the Prison Act.
Prison Act, yes.
Prison Act, because you have to do it privately.
Privately, yes, sir.
Okay. So once they were strip searched, whilst they were being strip searched, you say you left?
Yes, I left. I went to the guard room.
Okay. And at any point in time, did you observe any officers throwing hot water over the inmates?
No, never.
You never saw that?
I never saw that.
Okay. So you said you went to where after that?
To the guard room.
Okay.
Maybe before you move forward, so you didn't see any inmate being poured boiling water?
Water, no.
But did you see is there any inmate who reported and you observed any wounds on their body which show that they may have been burnt by water?
No.
Okay.
I never saw that.
Okay. You went to the guard room, you said?
Yes.
Who was at the guard room at the time?
I went to the guard room. I don't remember who were there. But I went there. No, when I went there, it was the doctor who was still there. It was the doctor. And then I don't recall the officer that were there.
Okay. Did you?
Oh, I saw Inspector Sergeant Gilbert Mary.
Okay. Did you see Mr. Tony Joe there?
No, at that time, no.
Okay. At some point in time, did he come?
Yeah,
there?
he came.
At around what time was that?
I don't recall what time it was, but he did came inside.
Was it on the 6th? That would be on the 6th that he came?
Yes.
Okay.
He came.
So carry on what you observed?
What I observed at that time, there was other female officers who came down. It was Greta Valmont. She was there.
What is her occupation? What is her responsibility, Madame Valmont?
She's a prison officer. She's a sergeant.
Does she have any
I think I saw it was on the 6th. On the 6th that I saw.
Oh, now you at the 6th now?
On the 6th,
okay.
Okay.
So you saw these officers and
And then
what
there were
happened?
some CAS officers also. I don't remember their names, but I saw them.
Mhm.
Yeah, they were trying to help with the cleaning and everything.
Okay, and thereafter?
And then after that, I left. It was around nearly 5 in the morning that I proceed up to the mail block, and I
You went back
administrative
to the
block.
mail block.
Administrative block. Then I went up
Oh, the
there.
administrative block.
Yeah.
not-
Then it was around nearly after 4:30 in the morning that I went there, and I stayed there until the next day.
And what did you observe? When you mean the next day, you mean the 6th?
Yes, I'm in the 6th. Yes.
Okay. At what time did you go there?
It was 5:30.
5:30.
Around 5:30.
Oh, okay.
Because it was about 5:45 that the commissioner said that they were going to the relatives of the one who died. I forgot the name.
Okay. Yeah. So on the 6th, anything happened? After you 5:30.
Nothing. No, everything was quiet.
Okay. Were the military still around?
No, they went away. Some went away. On the 6th, they went away. They came back during the day.
They came back during the
During
day.
the day, PSSW came. I saw PSSW. I don't remember seeing the military
Okay.
during the day.
So apart from that, you did not observe anything else?
No, apart from that, no.
This is all you observed?
My observation, yes.
Okay. And how would you describe the relationship between Mrs. George and the administration and with the other officers of the prison?
She was, how can I say it? There were some officers who were close to her, and there were some who were a bit put in the corner.
They were put in the corner.
Yes,
And-
some officers, yes.
And how was the relationship between those officers and Mrs. George?
Quite on good terms.
Okay. And how would you describe the relationship between Mrs. George and the inmates? We're talking about the male inmates.
The male
now.
inmates. The thing is that there were certain things that like cigarettes and whatever. She put a stop to it. They were not happy about that, but she was trying to instill some discipline, you know.
Mhm.
But their relationship was not that good. Her relationship with the inmates were not that good.
Okay. Have you ever observed whether Mrs. George ever visited the male block?
Once when it was Human Rights who came, that's the only time I saw her visit in the male block. Not
And-
before.
And the human rights came before or after the incident of the
It was before.
before? Okay.
It was before.
Okay. Any questions?
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Vidot. So I will now ask you a few questions, and then, but the commissioners can come in at any time. Chief Inspector, remind me, you said your responsibility at the time, as at 5 December, was about?
Before, it was during the month of December, because before I was in charge, I was head of the remendees, and then I was asked by the commissioner, the ex-commissioner, to come to Montagne Posée to be in charge of the female prison. So I went there, and then after I was told I'm not supposed to go to be in charge of the female prison, but to be in charge of the male block. But it was to take effect on the 1st of January 2025.
Okay. Were you given any reasons?
No, when asked, it's because they need to make changes.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay. But were you in any way responsible for the welfare of prisoners?
No.
Okay.
At that time, no.
So when you were moved to work on the male block of the prisoners, what exactly were your duties?
So to oversee the day-to-day running of the mill block. That's what I was told.
Okay.
To oversee. But I went there on, during the week too, to ensure that things are flowing, are going well.
Okay. Okay.
Any concern?
Okay. And how long did you oversee the mill block? For how long?
Not even 1 month.
Okay. Okay.
Even 1 month.
All right. So in your view, what was the state of discipline amongst the inmates, particularly let's just say the whole prison? How would you describe the state of discipline of prisoners at that time?
It was not, how can I say it? They were being they already were being disciplined by the previous commissioner who was there. He tried his best, but then when ex-commissioner came, it was more serious, and the discipline was a little bit going up a little bit.
Okay, so are you saying, or rather, can you say? At the time that this, or the period leading to 5 December, were prisoners generally rowdy and disobeying instructions?
There were some disobedience, yes.
What kind of disobedience?
Like even if they said not to smoke, they were trying to get cigarettes being smuggled for them to smoke. It was things like that. They didn't want to abide to the law that said no smoking.
What else were they doing?
Concerning even their home visit, which they were not being given, they were trying to. Some of them got, some they don't got. Then they were not happy about that.
Okay. Yeah. No, I want us to separate between their privileges, which they were complaining about. I want us to talk about the the ill discipline in the prison, because there's a view that the inmates were getting out of hand. The prisoners were getting out of hand.
Yes.
So that's what I want us to talk more about, so that we have a picture of the nature of the ill discipline. What kind of problems were you having?
The thing is that when some of their rights were being taken from them, they become a bit agitated and aggressive.
So there was a bit of aggressivity,
yes,
towards officers.
Towards officers, and even the management too. They were not happy about the management decisions.
And for how long did you notice this before the incident of 5 December? Like, did this trend or this pattern of tension, rowdiness, aggression, did it continue for some time before 5 December?
It continued until before the 5th December.
Did you see this like for a year before 5 December, 6 months before 5 December, 2 years?
No. Maybe months.
Maybe months.
Months, yes.
Okay. In all that, is there a discussion that took place amongst the prison authorities on how to deal with the problem of
we have monthly meeting, all heads come together to have meetings. It was discussed about concerning the inmates' behavior. Yeah, it was discussed.
So what were some of the decisions or strategies that were put in place to put in place discipline? It
was discipline. It is to monitor them more.
Okay. Monitor them more.
Monitor them more, yeah. To monitor more what was going on.
In those discussions, was there any discussion about preparing prison officers to deal with a riot?
No, there was none.
So there was no discussion to say
in case there's a riot, to how to go about it, no.
Is it because no one was anticipating a riot, or what?
Maybe the management was not thinking that maybe we'll end up with a riot. That's the reason why they didn't discuss about to be prepared.
Then, in your experience of working at Montagne Posée, did you come across a standard operating procedure on how to deal with a riot?
No, there was no SOPs for
There's no SOP.
riots. No, there was none at that time.
What other SOPs are there?
I haven't seen any
You
SOPs
haven't seen any. Okay.
at that time. Now they're trying to implement. They're going to implement the SOPs.
Okay. Let's go back to the issue of discipline. In these disturbances that took place 5 and 6 December, are there inmates that you are aware of who had a record of poor discipline, who were injured?
Poor discipline.
Yeah, like inmates who generally are rowdy, are disobedient of instructions.
No. I didn't saw those ones.
Did you see any inmates who were generally obedient, follow instructions, but who were injured?
Yes,
during the riot?
Francis Enista. He's very obedient.
Okay.
Yeah, he is always on his own with his cellmates, but he never interfered with the system. But he was injured.
He was injured.
Yes.
And he eventually
He ended up
died.
dead. He died. Yes.
Are there other inmates that you can say were generally obedient, followed instructions, but were seriously injured during the events of 5 and 6 December? Apart from Mr.
No,
Francis?
no.
Okay. What, in your discussions or in the discussions that you participated in as a prison officer at Montagne Posée, was there any conversation about the rights of prisoners?
No.
But was there any conversation about security?
About security, yes.
Okay.
They wanted tighter security. They wanted to, what was being put in place, that the security ensure that it's being done right.
Okay. So there was more of conversations on security
aspect,
protocol,
yes, protocols.
but nothing on the rights of prisoners.
No.
Okay. Do you think, now I'm asking you as a person, first, not as a person, but as a chief inspector now, do you think prisoners have rights?
Yes, they do have rights.
What are some of the rights that you think
The right to
are
life,
important?
to live, the right. Usually inmates got basic human rights, like for their food, the health, communication.
Okay.
Yes.
I hear you. What would be your response to someone who may come to you, because you are a chief inspector, someone who may come to you and say, but prisoners are people who have done crimes, have done some serious crimes in society, and they deserve to be punished. So why should we be concerned about their rights?
Because at the end of the day, they are human beings, and we've got to treat them in a human manner.
But they didn't treat other people outside like human beings. Some of them killed.
But still, even if when they come to prison, we've got to take care of them to ensure that they be rehabilitated. That's the reason why, because even if they've killed outside, if they are murderers, if whatever they've done, so when they come in, we've got to treat them as a human being. Because their rights.
Yeah, you spoke about rehabilitation. Why is that important, rehabilitation?
It helps them when they go back to society to be accepted and to be able to live as a normal human, a normal citizen.
So I just want to make sure that I'm understanding you properly. So your view is it is important to respect and protect the rights of a prisoner because number one, they are a human being.
Yes.
But number two, it's part of rehabilitation.
Petition.
So when they come back to society,
They'll
you
be
want them
better
to come
citizen.
back as better citizens.
Citizen, yes, that's my thinking.
That's your take. So do you think if we violate their rights when they are in prison, they are likely to come back to society much worse?
Much worse. Yeah, that's my thinking.
That's, when inmates go through, because we have evidence, including also what you have confirmed, that there were some beatings.
Yes.
Some serious beatings.
Serious beating.
And then there was, beating of prisoners who are not fighting back.
Yes.
Right. And then there was what Commissioner here described as a stripping ceremony. I don't want us to use that word. I think let's just call it a strip, what it is. They were strip searched.
Yes.
So strip searched. Do you think that has an impact on a human being, on a prisoner?
Yes, for
What
sure.
kind of impact?
Because they are, how can I say it? Their dignity, they've got their dignity as a human being, and now they're being exposed in front of so many other people there. There's an impact for sure. I do believe there will be an impact on their life.
So when they come out of prison,
yes,
they then are more damaged in terms of character.
Correct. There's a small impact.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe not small, because this person has been stripped in, this man has been stripped in front of a woman, or this woman has been stripped in front of a man.
Yeah. It can affect them.
And then when they go out into society,
I do believe it will affect them.
Mm.
They will carry it all their life that they were being stripped in front of a woman. And other cell inmates, the cellmates too were present.
Yeah. And it is your view that there was no discussion on prisoners' rights in the official meetings?
On official meetings, before it was not that much, but nowadays, nowadays it is, yes, being implemented by our new commissioner.
That's okay. Just a moment. Just a question on food, because you also mentioned that the prisoners have a right to food. Were there any concerns about the quality of food in the period running up to 5 December?
Concerning food, nearly every day you'll get a complaint concerning food. That's inmate.
Yeah.
Some will eat what's being cooked, some will not eat, some will have some issues, but the food is well prepared. But there are days when they will say that the food is no good, and there are days they will say that the food is okay.
So, in your experience as a prison officer, it's normal that sometimes some of these complaints are not really...
Some are not happy about the food for that day,
Yeah.
some are happy. Yes, it's
so
normal.
in other words, these are complaints that are not really substantive. They're just, people complaining.
Complain, yeah.
Right? And then are there other complaints that are like genuine, where you can say this is really an issue?
Sir, the food is it's a large amount of food being prepared for them. Maybe a little something in the food, and then some of them will make a big issue, but not every now and then.
So, was there a way that these complaints were being handled and processed?
It was processed, yes. They will report it to the officer, the duty officer who's there, the supervisor, and the supervisor will tell the duty officer and will ensure that it does not happen again.
Okay. There's some evidence that was placed before this commission, which says on 6 December, you, as part of trying to help the situation,
Yes.
you collected some names of inmates who were injured and who needed medical assistance. Is that correct?
No, I didn't collect any names, but I saw them who needed help,
Okay.
and then I bring them forward to have them brought before the doctor to be,
And they were treated.
treated. Yes.
Okay. After the events of 5 and 6, was there any discussion? Was there any discussion amongst the prison authorities? A discussion to deal with trauma affecting the wardens? Or maybe let me take that question again. Are there any inmates who were traumatized by what happened on 5 and 6 December?
Some inmates said they were traumatized,
Yeah.
and even some staff said they were not okay. Even
Okay.
myself, I had to go to see the psychiatrist.
So now my question is, you have, so what you are telling me is you had inmates who were reporting that they are not mentally okay
Mentally okay, yes, there were
because of
some.
the events. And I think you have some of them, if it is true that they were stripped, searched, right, and made to squat and beaten whilst they are in a state of being subdued anyways, so that they would be psychologically unwell. And also there were reports that, you know, some wardens had witnessed these things.
Yes.
So was there any effort by the prison management to provide counseling for the inmates?
We've got counselors up at Posée.
Okay.
So some of them, they came forward because they need to come forward to report that they need counseling. There's welfare officers. Some of them were assisted, but not all.
Not all of them. How about the prison officers? Was there any assistance
No, we sought our own assistant from outside
as individuals?
as individual, yes.
Okay. Was there any post-mortem that was done? When I'm saying a post-mortem, I mean a debrief.
The management met and they discussed about what happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you
and
part
the way
of that
forward.
discussion?
Yes, I was part of the discussion.
And was there a decision on the way forward?
Decision the way forward was that the ex-commissioner said that we need to ensure that who needs help gets help.
Okay. Like medical help?
Yes.
What other kind of help?
That's the only help that
That's the only
was,
help.
yes.
But was there any, and maybe let me finish this question before you answer. Was there any debrief, any post-mortem of the events of 5 and 6 December? A post-mortem discussion to try and identify reasons why things happened the way they happened and how to avoid similar occurrences in future?
Yes, we did meet as the management.
Okay.
Yes. And we discussed of what happened and to try to identify when things is going to happen from the beginning, what needs to be done. We did meet to discuss it.
Okay. So was there any discussion at that particular point on the need to have a standard operating procedure to deal with a riotous situation?
No.
No. Was there any discussion at that particular point on how to deal with the issue of poor discipline in the prison?
No, we didn't discuss that.
Was there any discussion about contraband?
About contraband, yes. to be more attentive, more the alert of contraband coming in. It's a security aspect. It was discussed.
Okay. No, I think I will end there and ask Commissioner Vic to take it from there.
Okay, I'll talk to CI Jocelyn.
Yes.
That's how I know her.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
okay. See, I didn't get you. What was the responsibilities at that time? You said, what was your responsibilities?
I was first. I was placed at the female prison to be in charge of the female prison, and then
From when?
from it was in December 2024.
December 2024.
Yeah. Then I was sent to the female prison, but then I was told that I'm not supposed to be there, but to go in to the male prison.
Okay, but you didn't have time to go to the male prison.
But I was supposed to take the charge 1st January.
Okay. Okay.
But I did go to the male prison every now and then.
Go and have a look.
To have a look.
Okay. So now when you went to the male block,
Okay.
yeah, every now and then you had to go at the male block. Did you visit the prison? Did you go inside the prison?
Yes, I go inside the prison.
Okay.
I did go.
Okay. Now, did you notice as you walked inside the prison, because some people have said, did you notice inside the prison that there were fridge and hot plates that foods were being cooked inside the prison?
I never saw the fridge and the hot plate. But after the riot, the fridge and the hot plate was removed. There was a fridge inside.
Okay. Now, where can we find this fridge?
I don't know where they put it.
Because it is an exhibit and it should be somewhere.
It should be somewhere.
Okay.
Can
Maybe
ask the prison
somebody
authority.
Maybe somebody will guide us to where it is.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'm going to be all over the place, CI, yeah, because writing questions, I've just written them down. When you said when you went up at the administration block,
Yes.
you went to see Stephen Mordon in the first instance
Holding
when they
cell
were
at the back,
asking for
yes.
Stephen Mordon. And when you went back
Okay.
afterwards, after discussing with Stephen Mordon, you went back to the male prison, to the male block. Yeah. On your way, going down to the male block,
Yes.
did you notice any abnormal people in the prison? I would say people, foreigners who were there, foreign people, not necessarily from another country, but people that were not prison officers in the vicinity of the parking area. When you were going, when you left Stephen Mordon,
No,
you were going
they
that.
were not. They not arrived yet. Not arrived yet.
Nobody was there,
No,
not
no,
even the
not the
PSSW, nobody
not
was
even
there.
the media. No, there was none.
Okay, so now when you were going back, and is that the time that you saw the fire when you went back in the?
Yes, that's the time that I saw the fire. Yes.
So would you be able to probably just try to think, why did they set fire at this point?
In my thinking is
Yes,
they wanted attention.
they wanted attention.
They wanted attention. That's my
Okay.
thoughts.
Now, at this time when you were going down, were all the so-called hostages out of the male block?
I was still outside when they came out.
Okay.
The three Tanzanians, they came in the front gate there,
Okay.
gate 13.
Okay, and
the
then?
gun was passed by down.
So they had gone out now.
Gone now, yes.
At what time was it around, CI?
I can't recall. I tried to think, but I...
Okay. Okay. Now, one thing I wanted to ask you, how many years of experience do you have in the prison?
31 years, it's 32 years in October.
32 years.
1st October.
You are one of the, I would say, the assets that the prison owns. in terms of experience, know-how, and the way to deal with prison matters.
Yes, sir.
I can state this. Do you agree with this?
I do agree.
Okay. Now, did the management, and I would go directly to the Commissioner of Prisons at that time, did she take into consideration your ability to be able to at least try to sort out those problems?
No, sir. Because even like for me, I did go there by myself because I thought that my presence will have an impact on the inmates when they were starting to do the commotion, and with the hostages in there. When they will see me, I do believe that they will have a change of mind, which I thought they did.
But when you went there, was there a change of mind, as you said? Was there something that calmed down a bit?
Yes, they were a little calmer.
Okay.
Yeah, because they were trying to say that they've done nothing wrong, they didn't hostage anybody, things like that.
Okay. Now, did the Commissioner of Prisons, she never called you to ask you to, knowing your relationship in prison, after so many years with the type of discipline that exists in the prison, did she at any time ask you, CI, would you be able to go and help to sort this out?
No, she never asked me, no.
She never asked.
She never asked me, no. I did it on my own.
You did it on your own?
Yes, because I've been to previous riots and we came down as ladies, 3 of us ladies at the SIU, high security prison, and we talked to them and they didn't make any riots, they stopped. Because when we talked to them, explained to them that their family will be watching them on TV, their kids will hear they're doing bad, it will have an impact on them, and they stopped what they were doing, starting to do.
Okay. Okay. So that, okay.
Sorry, I just want to ask a quick question about, since you are talking about the riot, you know, one of the issues that I think are very key and features a lot in this proceedings is riot, disturbances, incidents, events. You have seen previous riots?
Yes.
Okay, so what was happening there? In
The previous riots?
What made you think that this is a riot?
Because a large group of inmates come together and they start to break things.
Mm-hmm.
That's for me, it's a riot. I take it as a riot.
Are they trying to escape from prison?
No, they never do that. That they know. No one tried to escape.
Okay. If people who are not inmates, if people who are free, if they don't get attention from government for their issues to be resolved, do they have a right to protest?
Civilian people?
Yeah. Civilian people, do they have a right to protest?
I do believe they've got a right to protest, for sure.
Would you agree with me that the purpose of a protest is to get attention?
It's to get attention, yes.
But they don't have a right to destroy property?
No, they do not have the right to destroy.
They don't have a right to attack other people?
No, they do not have the right to attack.
But they can block the road?
The road, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you think inmates, because at some point when you were answering his question, you said they were trying to get attention.
Yes.
At that time when they were trying to get attention, were they beating up anyone?
No, they were not beating up anyone.
Were they destroying property?
They were damaging the wall, the gates and everything.
Okay. Were they attacking each other?
No.
Okay. No, I just wanted to get that clarification. Go ahead.
Okay. C.I. Jocelyn,
Yes, sir.
if I take a few minutes, I'm just reading what I wrote here. At one point, you said when you were trying to help
Okay.
inside the mail block with the inmates, you were told by one officer not to interfere
Yes.
and try not to be, what was the word I used? Overprotective of those
Yes.
inmates. Would you confirm that the prison authorities were at this stage not in control of the situation?
The prison authority, yes, we're not in control.
You were not in control?
No,
Okay.
it was the other party.
Okay. Now, would you be able to tell us who, in your view, or what you saw, who would be in control of this situation at that time?
It was the army.
The army.
The army.
So the army had taken control of
of
this situation. Okay. Did you, whilst you were inside the mail block, at some point, there was a conversation that happened between an officer of the army and an officer of the prison? A question was asked and an answer was given. Did you hear this? Did you hear this question and the answer?
No, I did not hear it.
You're sure?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you normally are part of the management team
Yes.
in the prison. Would you, at this point now, could you talk to us a little bit about about Francis, Ernesta, and Jerry, about their discipline in the prison? Were they good prisoners? Were they bad prisoners?
Jerry, when I was in charge of the DRF, Detention Remand Facility, he was there. Nearly 3 years I've worked with him. He was a very calm inmate. And Francis, he kept to himself. They were, both of them, they would never look for trouble.
Okay.
In my presence,
Okay.
And my thinking also is that they are low risk.
Okay.
inmates.
Now, would you know if there has been any disciplinary actions taken against Mr. Ernesta or Mr. Jerry Machut during their time that they've been at the prison? Would you know if there has been any disciplinary action taken?
No, I do not know.
Okay. Now, normally when you conduct the management meeting at the prison or anywhere, I suppose, you should be having what we call a statistical breakdown of events that takes place every month. In fact, if you are having the meeting every month, you should be coming to tell your officers about statistics in the prison. What is right, what is wrong, what are the difficulties, what we must do. Have you ever heard any report on how many people have been called in, how many people have been charged, how many people have been reprimanded, how many people have been... Have you ever heard of this?
No. It's never been discussed.
Never been discussed?
No.
Okay.
In my presence.
Okay. And when Commissioner Justice talked to you about the food,
Okay.
the food served at the prison, Would you know if the doctor was occasionally called? Because according to the Prison Act, it says that the doctor must occasionally visit and test that the food being served at the prison is of good quality. Have you ever had any report to say that the doctor has been there?
No, I don't know.
You don't know?
That's
Now-
the medical side, sir. Sorry.
Okay.
It's on the medical side. I don't know. I don't
Okay,
know.
no, it's okay. You don't know. Now, taking into account what happened at the prison that day, okay, where would you agree or disagree that there was excessive force used in the prison on that day?
Yes, there were excessive force being used.
Okay, thank you. Now, having heard past testimonies, and I think you said somewhere that the prison guards working at the main block, they were taken
Hostages.
hostage, yeah? They were taken hostage. Now, at the point when the hostages have been released, okay, hostages have been released, that was, now before I go there, do you know who called the supporting services at the prison for such operation?
No, I do not know.
You don't know?
No.
Okay. So, at the point that those people, the officers were released, they went out, I would suppose, that was the initial mission. The first mission was to release hostages.
Yes.
Okay. Now, probably supporting services were called to help release hostages.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if the hostages have been released, there's no more. The mission falls now. It no longer exists.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what was the secondary mission that was in place to take over the prison or to do what happened? What was the secondary mission?
On my side, I was there alone. I don't know what they were discussing up at the administrative block.
So you were alone at the prison?
So I was there
at the block?
At the block there.
And you were talking to the inmates?
To the inmates.
You were inside the prison?
I was in the front gate.
Okay. So you weren't talking to the prison?
Yes.
But yeah, what I'm trying to figure out is, in your words, if you don't know, you don't know. In your words, why do you think there was a secondary mission now?
Maybe because they put fire and they were a bit still aggressive. That's the reason why they wanted other forces to come in, to step in.
Okay, probably this is...
I think let's just restrict the questions to what she knows,
yes,
what she saw.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, now, finally, CI, my last question. Do you think that the excessive force that was used on the night, do you think it was justified? Do you think it was justified for this to happen?
No, it's not justified.
You said
Follow-up
that after
question.
the incident, there was a debriefing, there was a postmortem, okay? And you were present there.
Yes.
Did you get the possibility of observing from CCTV camera footages of what actually happened and to comment about what happened?
No, I was not given the chance to. We did not view the CCTV.
Not at all?
Not at all, no.
Okay. And you also said that you're seeing psychologists now?
Yes.
Okay. Regarding the incident?
Regarding the incident.
What is it about the incident that marked you the most?
The one who died. The one who died.
That
Jerry,
affected you the most?
Affected me. And then Francis Enista. Yes, it affected me a lot. And those being beaten too.
And the inmates being beaten?
Yes, the inmates being beaten.
So that's the main cause why you're having psychological
Yes.
treatment now. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Is there anything else that you might want to share with us? Okay. Yeah, Commissioner has a question.
CI, when you attended this meeting, the debriefing meeting
Yes.
at the end of the incident, were you shown a report of what was being kept or what was kept during the event? Who was noting everything that was happening during the event?
During the event, it was in the control room, up in the camera room, that they were recording who's coming in, who's going out.
Okay, that's...
But it was not discussed. It was not brought before the meeting.
Okay. Now, in the meeting of that day, was there somebody keeping minutes of the meeting?
I don't remember. I do not recall if they kept the meeting, but they must have minutes meeting.
Okay.
Perhaps that would be the Commissioner of Prisons who would have those minutes. Okay. Thank you very much, Chief Inspector. Do you have anything that you might want to share with us that we have not asked you? Anything?
No, I've said all that.
Okay. No, that's absolutely fine. I would like to, on behalf of the Commission, to thank you for coming forward, honoring your obligation as a public servant to testify in public and account. So when we talk about accountability, that's what it means. It simply means answering questions in a way that is transparent, in a way that the people you serve, who are the Seshewa, in a way that they can understand what is going on. So that's what you basically did this morning. And we want to thank you as a commission for honoring your obligation to account publicly and for cooperating with the commission in the way that you have done. Now, one of your rights is that you should not be victimized for having come forward to give your testimony in the way that you have given it, or for cooperating with the commission in any way from today onwards or in the past. Nobody has a right, has a power to victimize you or to victimize your family or to victimize anyone related to you in any way. It is a criminal offense if anyone does that. And we remind you that you have a right to file a complaint directly with the commission if anything of that sort happens. And the commission will take appropriate steps to investigate that and recommend appropriate measures, including prosecution of anyone who victimizes you for that. Any person that you may have implicated in your testimony directly or indirectly should not ask you any question about what you said today. If that happens, please let the commission know, and we will again take appropriate action against such persons.
Thank you, sir.
We have also, because we know you work under the leadership of the current CP, Commissioner of Prisons, we have met with him. He has given us assurance that no inmate, no prison officer will be victimized for cooperating with the commission. Should that happen, he will let the commission know himself. So you also have an option to report to him. And I think in the case of other prison officers intimidating other prison officers, the offense would both be criminal in nature, but will also be disciplinary. So we want to strongly caution and warn people not to engage in such. but also to assure you that you have such protection and such rights. Otherwise, thank you very much. And in the process of our work, we think you can be of further assistance, we will call you again. But for now, we will let you go.
Thank you, sir.
Maybe before you go, let's check to see for those that are following these proceedings when the next. So should we take a 10-minute?
10, 15, yeah, 10, 15. 10.
I think let's say 15, and then make sure that we are back here in 15 minutes time. So the 15 minutes time would be 12:15. So 12:15, then we'll be back. Maybe before you leave, they can switch off the cameras.